Philosophies Revived.
Ever felt that weight in your chest? That feeling of being on the edge, but unsure of what's next? Kierkegaard would tell you, that's your greatness trying to break through. Let's face it, anxiety gets a bad reputation. It's the feeling that often keeps us up at night, the voice that questions our choices, the sensation that makes us hesitate. We're taught to see it as a flaw, as something to eliminate, so we can finally live in peace. But Søren Kierkegaard, a 19th century Danish philosopher, saw things differently. For him, anxiety wasn't something to avoid or numb, it was a sign of something deeper. Anxiety, he argued, is a signal, a powerful, unmistakable sign that there is more to our lives, that we're being called to something greater. Imagine anxiety as an alarm bell, but instead of a warning, it's a wake-up call. Kierkegaard saw this angst as a crucial part of the human experience, one that we shouldn't be afraid of. He believed that anxiety is born from freedom and possibility, the sheer magnitude of life's choices and our awareness of them. It's like standing in front of a vast, open ocean with waves crashing in every direction, both beautiful and terrifying. In each choice, each wave, lies a potential path, a new future waiting to unfold. In today's world, we're often surrounded by messages telling us to overcome anxiety, to beat it, or even to distract ourselves from it. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if, instead, we embrace anxiety as a stepping stone to something deeper? Kierkegaard believed that anxiety was, in fact, a bridge, a path that leads us toward our truest self, a self that is authentic, passionate, and fully alive. He would argue that instead of running from anxiety, we should lean into it, understanding that within its discomfort lies the potential for greatness. This perspective doesn't mean we ignore anxiety's challenges. Rather, it's an invitation to see it as part of the journey of growth, one that helps us peel back layers, question societal expectations, and redefine what truly matters. And through that process, we get closer to living authentically. Kierkegaard's philosophy gives us permission to view anxiety not as a problem, but as a guide, helping us become the person we're meant to be. Understanding the roots of our worry. When Kierkegaard talks about anxiety, he's not referring to the everyday stress of work deadlines or traffic jams. He's talking about something much deeper, something he calls angst. This type of anxiety isn't simply nerves or worries about what people think. It's a fundamental reaction to the vast possibilities of life, an awareness that we, as humans, have a profound freedom to shape our own destiny. Imagine standing at the beginning of 1,000 different roads, each one leading to a different future. It's exhilarating, but it's also overwhelming. Kierkegaard saw anxiety as an essential aspect of what makes us human. It's not something we can escape because it's tied to our very consciousness. To be human, he argues, is to be aware of our freedom, of the potential within each choice. And this awareness naturally stirs up anxiety. Why? Because we know we're responsible for where these choices will lead. It's like being a captain of a ship, alone on a boundless ocean. You hold the wheel, but there's no map, no promise of safety, just the open sea. For Kierkegaard, this was both the beauty and the terror of human existence. This form of existential anxiety arises from the recognition that we are free, and that freedom requires us to choose without any certainty of the outcome. It's not the kind of anxiety a doctor might diagnose. Instead, it's a spiritual and philosophical condition. Kierkegaard saw it as a call to live with intention, to recognize that each decision, no matter how small, contributes to the person we become. There's no roadmap, no instructions, just our own inner compass to guide us. And that's what makes it both terrifying and deeply meaningful. So why do we feel this weight? Because, in a way, we're standing on the edge of a cliff, looking out at a vast expanse, wondering what's next. The freedom to make choices, to define our lives, is empowering but also dizzying. Kierkegaard believed that facing this anxiety head-on is a fundamental step in becoming our truest self. It's a realization that while the path is uncertain, it's also uniquely ours to shape. By understanding the roots of this existential angst, we begin to see that anxiety is not an enemy, it's the spark that sets our journey in motion. Exploring the dizziness of freedom, Kierkegaard described anxiety as the dizziness of freedom. It's a powerful image. Imagine standing at the edge of a mountain cliff with nothing but open air and a panoramic view stretching out before you. It's breathtaking, yes, but it's also terrifying. The height makes your head spin, the possibilities make your heart race. This, Kierkegaard would say, is the feeling of true freedom. It's the realization that you're not bound by predetermined paths or fixed outcomes. You have the freedom to make choices, to shape your own life, and that freedom, while exhilarating, comes with an undeniable weight. To Kierkegaard, this dizziness, this sense of being overwhelmed by choices, is at the heart of what it means to be human. We are free to make choices, to shape our futures, to define our values. But with that freedom comes the responsibility for those choices. This is what makes our existence both beautiful and anxiety-inducing. We crave certainty and security, yet the nature of freedom denies us that comfort. No one can tell us which path to choose or guarantee the outcome of our decisions. We're on our own, navigating a world of infinite possibilities, with nothing but our own intuition to guide us. Think of it this way: every choice we make is like picking a thread out of a bundle of strings. Each thread represents a different future, a different version of ourselves. And with every choice, we weave a unique tapestry, a life that's completely our own. But the weight of holding all those threads, all those possibilities, can be daunting. It's the price of freedom, the price of living authentically. Kierkegaard believed that understanding this dizziness of freedom is essential to embracing a life of meaning. It's a reminder that while life's uncertainties can be daunting, they're also what give us the power to grow, to evolve, and to pursue what resonates deeply with us. Instead of fearing this dizziness, Kierkegaard invites us to lean into it, to recognize that it's a sign we're alive, free, and capable of creating a life that truly matters. This perspective helps us see that the anxiety of choice is not a limitation. It's an invitation to live boldly and fully. How anxiety can lead us to growth. Anxiety doesn't have to be a stumbling block. In fact, for Kierkegaard, it's a stepping stone. He believed that anxiety is not a wall but a door, a passage to personal growth and self-realization. This view might seem counterintuitive. Most of us think of anxiety as something that holds us back, something to get rid of. But Kierkegaard saw it as a kind of forge, a place where the pressures of existence shape and strengthen us. Imagine anxiety as a fire. If we step into it, we emerge stronger, clearer, more aware of who we are. To Kierkegaard, anxiety is a signal that we are on the brink of discovery. It's like standing at the edge of a forest, not knowing what lies within, but feeling that what's beyond could change us forever. Anxiety stirs us, wakes us up, pushes us to confront our fears and limitations. When we choose to face it, to explore its roots and meaning, we embark on a journey of growth, learning things about ourselves we might have otherwise ignored. A key part of this journey involves breaking away from societal expectations, from the comfort zones that keep us stuck. Kierkegaard saw this as crucial. Society often tells us who we should be, what success looks like, and how to live. But these norms can trap us, keeping us from pursuing what truly matters to us. It's like walking through life with a mask on, conforming to expectations, but never feeling fulfilled. Kierkegaard encourages us to shed that mask, to venture into the unknown territory of our own individuality. And while this brings anxiety, it also brings a deep sense of freedom and authenticity. transforming anxiety into a path for growth means accepting it as part of the journey. It's the understanding that, yes, life is uncertain, and yes, that uncertainty can be overwhelming. But within that uncertainty lies the potential to create a life that's fully our own. By choosing to navigate through our anxieties, we gain insight into our desires, fears, and strengths. And in doing so, we carve out a life that resonates with our deepest values, passions, and aspirations. Finding passion in the midst of anxiety. Kierkegaard believed that one of the most powerful ways to transform anxiety is by finding passion, a pursuit so deeply resonant that it gives meaning to our lives. Passion, for Kierkegaard, isn't simply excitement or enthusiasm. It's a profound commitment to something that feels deeply personal, a purpose that resonates with our inner truth. Think of passion as a compass, a guide that helps us navigate the chaos of life and make sense of our existence. But not all passions are created equal. Kierkegaard talked about what he called subjective truth, the idea that the most meaningful truths aren't necessarily universal, but deeply personal. It's not about following what society tells us is important. It's about uncovering what truly matters to us. Imagine a musician who plays not for fame, but because the music is an expression of their soul. That's subjective truth, a passion that brings authenticity and purpose. In a world full of external pressures and societal expectations, Kierkegaard challenges us to look inward and discover our unique passions. These are the pursuits that, even if no one else understood, would still bring us fulfillment. They are the passions that align with our values, aspirations, and deepest beliefs. By following them, we create a life that is not only meaningful, but genuinely ours. This kind of passion has the power to anchor us, to keep us focused and inspired, even when the world around us seems chaotic. So, how do we find this passion? According to Kierkegaard, it begins with self-reflection. We need to examine our desires, question our motivations, and consider what truly resonates with us. This process isn't always easy, and it can bring up even more anxiety as we confront what we really want. But it's a necessary step toward living a life of purpose. It's like a sculptor chipping away at a block of marble, slowly, carefully, uncovering the masterpiece within. By engaging with our passions, we tap into a sense of vitality and fulfillment that transcends the anxieties of existence. The leap of faith. Kierkegaard's concept of the leap of faith is central to his philosophy. It's the idea that, in a world full of uncertainty, we must take bold steps even when we can't see the entire path. Embracing the unknown means stepping forward without guarantees, trusting in our choices, and allowing ourselves to be guided by our deepest values and desires. This leap of faith, according to Kierkegaard, isn't blind optimism. It's a courageous act of authenticity. It's acknowledging that while we may never have all the answers, we can still live fully and purposefully. For Kierkegaard, the leap of faith represents a commitment to living in alignment with our subjective truth. Imagine you're crossing a river on stepping stones, each one slightly out of reach. You don't know if the stone will hold your weight, but to reach the other side, you must step forward. Each step is a leap of faith, a choice to trust in your path, despite the uncertainty. By embracing the unknown, we refuse to let anxiety hold us back. Instead, we use it as a catalyst for growth, an invitation to live boldly. Kierkegaard believed that only by confronting this anxiety, by stepping into the unknown, do we find true freedom. This leap of faith is not a rejection of reason. It's an embrace of the mysteries of life, a recognition that the most meaningful experiences lie beyond what we can predict or control. Taking the leap of faith allows us to live authentically, unburdened by the need for absolute certainty. It's a reminder that life will never be free of fear or uncertainty, but that within those challenges lies the opportunity to become our truest selves. Kierkegaard's philosophy encourages us to face the unknown with courage, to pursue what feels deeply meaningful, even if it means walking a path that others might not understand. By taking that leap, we transcend the anxieties of everyday life and step into a life that is genuinely fulfilling.